An article was dropped by Kotaku yesterday which caught my attention and perhaps ignited
My roasting senses.
not towards the publishers, hell no, I love Kotaku, but towards the jerks that are killing our favorite freaking games. The article basically points out that maybe our beloved franchises keep dying not because people stopped caring, but because publishers turned game development into a $200 million Vegas coin flip and then screams like little girls every time it doesn't land on $billion. And I get it, I really get Kotaku's angle. It isn't to bait nostalgia, but more like a straight up observation that the industry is choking itself with its own freaking expectations. Let's slowly pull the thread together, gamers and gamerettes, and unravel the whole AAA freaking sweater. Okie dokie, let's talk about what big publishers are doing to great games. And spoiler alert, it's not protecting the art, it's a freaking sabotage. Right now, AAA publishers have convinced themselves that if a game doesn't launch as a forever game, a revenue gold stream, or an investor wet dream, then it's a freaking failure. I'm not saying moderately successful, I'm not even saying profitable. They just stamp it as failure. And it's really stupid. I mean, most of human history ran fine on the idea of we made a thing, people bought it, cool. Instead, publishers now treat every project like a fund for Burj freaking Khalifa. If it's not guaranteed to pull in at least $500 million minimum, it's not worth pitching, prototyping, or even thinking about. That's why these beautiful and amazing franchises don't get shelved gently anymore. They get executed behind the barn with a press release saying,
We're refocusing resources.
and a viewer of the pre-breakdown show dropped an amazing comment that absolutely nailed it. Shout out to Jordan French 3295 which dropped this amazing gem. Publishers don't want to self-compete against their gacha, battle pass, microtransaction games. Bingo, bullseye, straight through the freaking skull. These damn publishers aren't scared that these franchises will fail. They're scared that they'll succeed without monetization hooks. A tight, self-contained single-player game that sells well is actually a problem now, believe it or not, because it pulls the attention, time, and money away from the live service crap they desperately need you to log into every time like it's a second job. Why would publishers greenlight a focused $50 to $60 single-player game when they already have a battle pass that resets every season, a cosmetic store rotating fake limited time items, daily challenges engineered by psychologists, and whales paying more than your freaking car payments every month? That kind of game doesn't just make money, it competes internally. It threatens engagement metrics, it messes with the retention curves, it reminds players what fun feels like, which is apparently very dangerous nowadays. So, instead of letting franchises exist on their own terms, publishers either inflate their budgets until they're freaking unsustainable, force live service elements where they don't belong, or quietly kill them so they don't distract from the cash cow. And when those live service games underperforms, nobody learns anything. They just double down harder, chase the next trend, and blame changing consumer taste instead of their own dog
freak decision making.
This is how we got here. An industry where publishers would rather make nothing than make something that doesn't monetize forever. Where creative risk doesn't mean gameplay ideas anymore. It means risking a slightly lower quarterly forecast. It's also why everything feels homogenized nowadays. Same progression systems, same currencies, same menus, same monetization psychology wrapped in a different coat of paint. Publishers don't want variety, they want predictability, and when creativity becomes unpredictable, it gets labeled unsafe. And they still call this playing it safe. Safe would be making games people want. Safe would be smaller budgets and clearer goals. Goals. Sorry, bad English. Anyways, safe would be understanding your audience. But no, instead we get franchises locked in vaults, studios shattered, and companies wondering why players aren't excited anymore.
What did they expect? Idiots.
Who are the poor victims of this nonsense? Which games had to suffer the unfortunate fate of being shelved by jack-off studios? Well, first up, we have Dead Space, a series so beloved that fans literally begged for its return for years. And when it finally came back, it did well, it reviewed really well, and sold not enough to justify impossible expectations. So instead of thinking, these studios thinking, cool, people actually still care, the publishers looked at the numbers, sighed dramatically, and put the franchise on ice. They didn't even cancel it, they didn't even give it the dignity to die with peace. They just cryogenically froze it until morale improves.
Or until someone figures out how to staple a battle pass onto Necromorphs.
Next up, we have Titanfall 2, one of the best shooters ever made. Universally praised campaign, incredible movement, loyal fan base. And what did it get in return? A launch window suicide mission, zero long-term freaking support, and a slow fade into it. Remember how good that game was? It simply did not fit into the live service first freaking future. Thief is another tragedy. It was once a defining stealth franchise, but now reduced to a dusty memory because immersive single-player stealth don't sell cosmetics. You can't sell, glowing knives or skins in a game about hiding in shadows and stealing candlesticks. So instead of modernizing it sensibly, it got abandoned like a genre experiment went wrong. And it's freaking stupid because these stealth fans, they never went anywhere.
Woosah, deep breaths.
Alright, next up we have Prince of Persia, a franchise that literally helped define third-person action games. Yes. Before anyone says, ooh, but there is a new game, the Lost Crown exists, and it's good. But let's not pretend that's what the fans were waiting for a decade and a half for. The real tragedy is the Sands of Time remake, a project so overthought, so restarted, and so meddled with that it collapsed under its own weight. All anyone wanted was a polished modern refresh. What we got though was 6 years of development hell and nothing to show for it. Now let's add two more that weren't even in the article but absolutely belong here. Splinter Cell has been missing for over a decade, a franchise built on, tension, gadgets, and deliberate pacing, also known as everything that doesn't fit
Modern engagement-driven design.
It's not dead because it wouldn't sell, it's dead because it wouldn't sell forever. Yeah, there is no battle pass night vision goggles, eh? No seasonal Sam Fisher outfits, just a good-ass stealth game. Nope, it's unacceptable. If it's not selling whatever, it is not acceptable.
These AAA publishers.
And last but not least, Red Faction. Yeah. Gorilla got a remaster in 2018, sure. But the last new Red Faction game came out in 2011. 15 years later, there's been no sequel, no reboot, no attempt to evolve one of the most innovative destruction-focused shooters ever made. I mean, why? The idea was great. It was there. So why not build on that? And that's what all these games have in common, guys. It isn't their quality or their sales or the fan base interest. It's that these games don't slot neatly into a system designed around infinite spending and infinite growth. These stupid publishers, they didn't kill these franchises because they failed or they sucked. They killed them because they didn't fit their money machine. And while these massive companies sit on these IPs doing absolutely freaking nothing with them, smaller studios are out here proving,
Loudly, might I say,
that you don't need infinite budgets or exploitative monetization to succeed. AA studios are out here doing something radical, something new, something probably out of this world for these AAA publishers. They're making games people actually want to play.
and somehow surviving without $300 million budgets, NFT roadmaps, or these dudes screaming about profit here and profit there.
And let's kick this off with the clearest middle finger to the freaking system. Claire Obscure Expedition 33. This thing reportedly cost less than $10 million to make. Now the number isn't exact really, guys, but everyone involved agrees it wasn't even sniffing AAA money. And what did that cheap little project do? Well, nothing really. It just dropped to staggering Metacritic scores sitting around 91 to 92 across all platforms, won 9 awards, only 9 awards, that's it, became a massive word-of-mouth hit and sold millions of copies. That's it. Critics freaking loved it. Players freaking adored it. It didn't need any cinematic bloat, photoreal pores, or a $40 season pass. What it needed is vision, mechanics, and confidence. And that's one of the most amazing things that makes AA studios, well, amazing. They actually trust their ideas. I mean, look at Lies of P. It was released on September 19th, 2023, and it cleared over 1 million units in its first freaking month. It landed very strong Metacritic scores across platforms. This wasn't your regular live service experiment. There was no battle pass, no daily login nonsense. It was just a polished, challenging, tightly designed game that knew exactly who it was for and didn't freaking apologize for it. Not convinced? Okay, let me try and convince you with this one. This one is the big one, the one that should have caused mass panic attacks in AAA studios everywhere. Helldivers 2. Okay, we can agree its budget was a bit higher, I mean somewhere reportedly between $50 to $100 million. And yes, that number might sound scary if you've been conditioned by publishers to think anything under 200 million is indie garbage. But here is the thing, gamers and gamerettes. Helldivers 2 is a AA game made by a AA studio. It wasn't bloated by corporate sprawl, infinite outsourcing, or the suits meddling in. And as of January 24, 2026, it has sold nearly, if not fully, 20 million copies.
Go ahead, do the math. Slowly if you need, with a calculator if you also need that.
The freaking game didn't just make its money back or turn into a profit, it obliterated its budget into freaking Neverland. It became a gaming sensation. Montages, guides, community-driven craziness, all without turning players into freaking walking bank accounts. Okay, sure, it had a bit of monetization, but it wasn't egregious, in my humble opinion. And anyways, that's not the point. The point was the game itself. And that's what AAA studios keep missing. Players can tell when the game isn't the point anymore. AA studios are operating in a completely different mindset. They're not chasing everyone or trying to, dominate all demographics all at once. They're not pitching to shareholders first and players second. They're making games with clear identities, controlled scopes, and budgets that don't require sacrificing a freaking human every quarter to break even. And guys, believe it or not, these studios are actually much happier. The developers, they aren't trapped in 7-year or 10-year development cycles that end in layoffs anyways. The projects finish, the teams move on, their skills improve, morale survives, next game, come. Imagine that. Imagine how easy that is. Meanwhile, these triple freaking A studios are stuck in this delusional loop where anything short of the next forever game is considered a waste of time, even when AA studios are repeatedly proving that smaller and smarter projects can outperform bloated games. And sure, some of you might say, but they got lucky. Others might say, oh, but because they're smaller, they don't really have much pressure on them. That's not the reason, guys. The reason is simple and pure. They understand their audience. So, is there actually a fix to this whole AAA nonsense? Is there a fixable solution that might work? Well, there are a few. Sure, they're painful, but they do exist. Let's explore them together. I'm gonna cut right to the chase, guys, and just lay these solutions for you. The first solution, they need to stop chasing infinity and build for completion instead. Not every game needs to last forever. I know, right? Terrifying. Somewhere a monetization director
just spilled their consumer paid cold brew.
Let me put it for you in layman terms, guys. Games used to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Once they're done, you shipped them. People played them, they finished them. They talked about them, and then, brace yourself. They bought the next one. There was no stupid daily check-ins, there was no seasonal FOMO, there was no hostage situation, none of that, guys. AAA studios broke their own brains by obsessing over infinite retention. They don't want a player to love a game, they want a player trapped inside of it. And that mentality is why so many franchises get frozen, because a tight 50 to 20 hour game that people adore but eventually finish is considered dangerous. And here is the truth they don't want to hear. Completion is not failure. Listen, you are a gamer. What happens when you complete a game? You feel satisfied, right? Okay, what happens when you're satisfied? You start building trust towards that publisher. What happens when you trust that publisher? That publisher starts making sequels to which you freaking buy. AA studios get this. They design experiences that respect the player's time instead of colonizing it. Mechanics come first. Systems are there to support fun, not melt player brains. And guess what? Players come back willingly, not because a battle pass told them to, but because they want more of that game. And AAA studios, let me just tell you this. Flashy visuals, they won't save your game, or explosions or roadmaps. Good mechanics do. Make games people want to finish, not games they feel guilty for freaking abandoning.
Or abandoning.
Solution number 2, which is straightforward, but I still have to say it anyways because apparently their brains process slower than a freaking sloth. License the damn IPs and get the freak out of the way. If you're not making a game with a franchise, you're not protecting it. You're killing it slowly and pretending that's responsible. A dead IP doesn't retain value. It just gathers dust while fans get older and angrier. Publishers don't need to build massive internal teams for every single project. They don't need 7 studios, 3 buildings, and a dozen suits all fighting over the same design document. They need to license their IPs to studios that want to make games and shut the hell up. AA studios, they don't need total creative freedom. All they need are clear boundaries. Give them a budget, give them a scope, don't force demonetization, don't force meetings up their throat every 6 weeks. That's it. Let them do their black magic, let them cook. I mean, a $20 to $50 million game selling a couple million copies is a massive win. That's profit, that's brand goodwill, that's a revived franchise. And if it hits big, congratulations, you just printed money without gambling your company's freaking future. Why are publishers so terrified of losing control? I mean, don't they know that this exact control is what's strangling them? The moment they stop trying to micromanage everything into sameness is the moment creativity starts breathing again. And last but not least, the final solution. Accepting that smaller is not a dirty word. I mean, AAA freaking studios. Bigger doesn't mean better anymore. More features doesn't mean more fun. More systems don't mean more depth. And more money absolutely does not mean more soul to the game. AA studios understand something AAA studios forgot. Scale should serve the game, not the ego. You don't need Hollywood level spectacle to impress players. They keep forgetting players are smarter now. They can smell bull freak instantly. They know when a game exists to be played versus when it exists to be monetized. And every single freaking time a smaller studio ships a confident, polished experience, it exposes how hollow AAA excuses really are. They aren't failing because the games are expensive and they're harder to make. They're failing because they're afraid of not looking dominant. They'd rather risk everything on one bloated mega project than make 3 smart, focused games that actually succeed.
That's not strategy. That's insecurity with a budget.
Now, gamers and gamerettes, I'm curious as to your thoughts. Which franchise would you like to see revived once again? And would you trust it with AAA studios, or perhaps give AA studios a chance to show you their talent? Drop your thoughts down below. And guys, thank you once again for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more content in the future. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.